the tide. I'm paralyzed, can't find the words, caught in the silence, nothing's heard. Wanna bounce to you, but my feet won't move. What do I do? What do I prove? When everything's crashing down, I'm lost, can't make a sound. Eyes wide open, but the world's gone dark. Every thought's a shadow, every word's a spark. I'm trying not to be strong, but I'm breaking inside. Can't fix what's broken, can't turn back the tide. I'm paralyzed, can't find the words, caught in the silence, nothing's heard. Wanna bounce to you, but my feet won't move. What do I do? What do I prove? When everything's crashing down, I'm lost, can't make a sound. In the quiet, I'm screaming inside. In the dark, I'm searching for light, but I'm stuck in the middle, nowhere to go. Trying to be the strength you need, but I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a world filled with noise, where everyone feels compelled to express every thought, opinion, and emotion, we often overlook the profound strength that lies in silence. We have been led to believe that silence is weakness, or that it signals a lack of wisdom, yet the opposite is often true. Silence, in its essence, can be an act of strength, a deliberate choice to rise above the clamor of superficiality, and a path toward deeper understanding. Today, I invite you to explore the real truth of being silent. Let us look beyond the surface and dive into the richness that silence brings to our lives. Silence is a shield. Silence is not an absence, but a presence. It is a shield that guards our inner world from the chaos of the outer one. In moments when emotions flare and tempers rise, silence acts as a powerful defense. Rather than engaging in needless conflict or reacting to provocation, silence gives us the space to pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with our values. It is easy to react, to speak in haste, to fire back with words that wound and destroy. However, it takes greater strength and wisdom to remain silent in those moments, allowing our calmness to deflect the storm. This silence is not passive, it is deliberate. It is a conscious decision to hold back words that may cause harm or worsen a situation. While others may see it as avoidance, it is in fact the opposite. It is a measured response, one that recognizes the futility of arguing for the sake of pride or self-righteousness. The quiet becomes a form of mastery over oneself, and through this mastery, we are able to preserve peace within ourselves and with others. Through silence, we are able to protect our thoughts and emotions from the intrusion of external chaos. It becomes a shield that safeguards our dignity and integrity, especially in moments of conflict. This shield is not impenetrable, but it provides us with the time we need to process, to think, and to act with intention. In this way, silence becomes a powerful tool, enabling us to navigate difficult situations with grace and poise. Yet silence does not mean withdrawal or disengagement. It is not a retreat, but rather a way of standing firm without contributing to the noise. When we remain silent in the face of turmoil, we signal that we are not willing to descend into the fray of senseless argumentation. Instead, we choose to elevate ourselves above it, preserving our peace and, in many cases, diffusing the tension that others bring into the conversation. Ultimately, silence as a shield protects not only us, but also those around us. By choosing silence, we refuse to escalate conflict or contribute to unnecessary discord. We allow space for understanding and reflection, both for ourselves and for others. In this way, silence becomes a gift, offering peace in a world that is too often consumed by noise and strife. The wisdom in listening. In a world where everyone seems to be speaking, few are truly listening. Silence opens the door to deep, attentive listening, a kind of listening that transcends the surface and penetrates into the heart of what is being said. In silence, we are able to hear not only the words, but the meaning behind them. We become attuned to the emotions, the unspoken fears, and the aspirations of those around us. It is through listening in silence that we gain true wisdom, for wisdom comes not from speaking, but from understanding. To listen with intent is an art that few practice. Most of us, when engaged in conversation, are simply waiting for our turn to speak. We listen just enough to form a response, but not enough to truly understand. Silence, however, forces us to slow down and listen deeply. When we are not preoccupied with forming our own thoughts or opinions, we are free to absorb the full meaning of what the other person is saying. In this way, silence becomes a bridge to connection, empathy, and understanding. Furthermore, silence allows us to hear the things that are not being said. We become attuned to body language, tone of voice, and other subtle cues that provide insight into the speaker's emotional state. We learn to listen with our hearts as well as our ears, picking up on the nuances that often go unnoticed in the rush of conversation. In this way, silence becomes a tool for deeper communication, one that transcends mere words and touches the soul. Listening in silence also has the power to transform relationships. When we listen without the need to respond or interject, we create space for the other person to be heard fully. This kind of listening fosters trust and openness as the speaker feels valued and respected. It is through this silent listening that we can build stronger, more meaningful connections with others. Finally, the wisdom we gain from listening in silence is not limited to our interactions with others. It also extends to our relationship with ourselves. In moments of silence, we are able to listen to our own inner voice, to reflect on our thoughts, emotions, and desires. This self-reflection leads to greater self-awareness, which is the foundation of personal growth and wisdom. The power of silence in reflection. In the busyness of life, we often neglect the need for reflection. Silence provides the space for us to pause and reflect on our experiences, our choices, and our path. It is in moments of silence that we gain clarity, understanding, and insight into our own lives. Without silence, we are constantly reacting to the external world, never taking the time to look inward. But in silence, we can step back, reflect, and gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our journey. Reflection is not a passive act, but an active engagement with our inner world. It is through reflection that we make sense of our experiences, learn from our mistakes, and chart a course for the future. Silence gives us the time and space we need to engage in this process fully. When we are silent, we are able to focus on our thoughts without the distractions of the external world. We can explore our feelings, examine our motivations, and gain insight into our true selves. Moreover, silence and reflection allows us to see the bigger picture. When we are caught up in the noise and busyness of life, it is easy to lose sight of what is truly important. We become focused on the immediate, the urgent, and the trivial. But in moments of silence, we are able to step back and gain perspective. We see our lives in the context of the larger story, and we are able to make choices that align with our deeper values and purpose. Silence also allows us to process our emotions in a healthy way. When we are constantly surrounded by noise and activity, it can be difficult to understand and manage our feelings. But in silence, we are able to sit with our emotions, to feel them fully, and to gain insight into their source. This process of emotional reflection is essential for personal growth and emotional well-being. Finally, the power of silence and reflection extends beyond the individual. When we take the time to reflect in silence, we are able to bring greater clarity and wisdom to our interactions with others. We are less likely to react impulsively or make decisions based on incomplete information. Instead, we are able to respond with thoughtfulness, compassion, and understanding. In this way, silence and reflection not only benefits us, but also those around us. Silence is a path to inner peace. In the chaos of the modern world, inner peace can often feel elusive. We are bombarded by noise, demands, and distractions, all of which pull us away from our center. Yet silence offers us a path back to ourselves, a way to reconnect with the stillness and peace that reside within. In silence, we find a sanctuary from the external world, a place where we can rest, recharge, and find peace. This inner peace is not a passive state, but an active choice to cultivate stillness amidst the noise. The pursuit of inner peace requires intention and practice. It is not something that happens by chance, but something that we must cultivate through deliberate action. Silence provides the foundation for this practice. When we create space for silence in our lives, we allow ourselves the opportunity to disconnect from the chaos and reconnect with our inner selves. This practice of silence becomes a refuge, a place where we can find solace and strength. Furthermore, silence as a path to inner peace involves letting go of the need to control or fix everything around us. When we are silent, we learn to accept things as they are, without the need to change or manipulate them. This acceptance brings a sense of peace, as we are no longer struggling against the world, but are instead flowing with it. In this way, silence teaches us the art of surrender, which is essential for finding true inner peace. Silence also allows us to cultivate mindfulness, which is a key component of inner peace. When we are silent, we are able to focus on the present moment without the distractions of the past or the future. We become fully present, fully aware, and fully engaged with the here and now. This practice of mindfulness brings a sense of calm and clarity, as we are no longer overwhelmed by the noise of our thoughts or the demands of the external world. Finally, the peace we find in silence is not just for ourselves, but for those around us. When we cultivate inner peace, we become a source of calm and stability for others. We are able to bring a sense of tranquility and balance to our relationships and interactions. In this way, silence as a path to inner peace not only benefits us, but also contributes to the well-being of those we encounter. Silence in the face of injustice. There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than words. In the face of injustice, silence can be a form of protest, a refusal to participate in a system that is corrupt or unjust. This kind of silence is not passive, but active. It is a conscious decision to withhold our voice as a way of standing against something we believe is wrong. In this way, silence becomes a form of resistance, a way to assert our values without engaging in the noise of conflict. To remain silent in the face of injustice requires great courage. It is easy to speak out, to join the chorus of voices clamoring for attention. But it takes strength to remain silent, especially when the world expects you to react. This silence is not a sign of weakness or indifference, but a form of power. It is a way of saying that we will not be drawn into the chaos, that we will not participate in a system that is broken. Moreover, silence in the face of injustice allows us to maintain our integrity. When we speak out in anger or frustration, we may say things we do not mean or regret later. But when we remain silent, we retain control over our words and actions. We refuse to let the injustice dictate our response. In this way, silence becomes a way of preserving our dignity and moral compass. Silence in the face of injustice also creates space for reflection and strategic action. When we are silent, we are able to step back and assess the situation with clarity. We can think through our options, consider the consequences of our actions, and make choices that align with our values. This kind of silence is not passive but proactive. It allows us to respond to injustice in a way that is thoughtful, deliberate, and effective. Finally, silence in the face of injustice can inspire others to reflect on their own actions. When we refuse to engage in the noise, we create a pause, a moment of stillness that can cause others to question their own behavior. In this way, silence becomes a powerful tool for change, a way to disrupt the status quo and challenge the systems that perpetuate injustice. The discipline of silence. Silence is not always easy to achieve. In a world that is constantly vying for our attention, it takes discipline to carve out moments of stillness. Yet this discipline is essential for our well-being. Silence is not something that comes naturally to many of us, especially in a society that values productivity and constant engagement. However, the discipline of silence is a practice that can transform our lives, bringing us greater clarity, focus, and peace. The discipline of silence requires us to be intentional about creating space for stillness in our lives. This may involve setting aside time each day for quiet reflection or meditation. It may mean turning off our devices and disconnecting from the noise of the digital world. Whatever form it takes, the discipline of silence is a commitment to our own well-being and personal growth. Furthermore, the discipline of silence teaches us patience and perseverance. It is not always easy to remain silent, especially when we are faced with challenges or difficult emotions. However, the practice of silence teaches us to sit with these feelings, to allow them to pass without reacting to them. This patience is a valuable skill, one that can help us navigate the ups and downs of life with greater resilience. Silence also requires discipline in our interactions with others. It can be tempting to fill the silence with words, to speak simply for the sake of speaking. However, the discipline of silence teaches us to be more mindful of our words and to speak only when we have something meaningful to say. This kind of discipline leads to deeper, more thoughtful communication and fosters stronger relationships. Finally, the discipline of silence helps us cultivate inner strength. When we are able to sit in silence, without the need for external validation or distraction, we develop a sense of self-reliance and inner peace. This inner strength becomes a foundation that allows us to face the challenges of life with confidence and grace. In this way, the discipline of silence is not just about stillness, but about cultivating the strength and resilience we need to thrive. Silence is a tool for creativity. Silence is often seen
I don't care what it takes, nothing will come in my way. The universe can throw all it wants at me, stick to my path, I'll stay. Broken away from you, I don't care. I will stare into the sun, slingshot me around where I can find you. Will be a record breaker. Space itself is no limit for me. I will be your survivor. Just hold on, please wait for me. I will be a record breaker. Space itself is no limit for me. I will be your survivor. Just hold on, please wait for me. With the cosmos in my way, I don't care what they say. Supernovae and black holes, get out of my way. At the speed of light, I'm searching for you. In the moments to come, I'll break the boundaries for you. For you. I don't care what it takes, nothing will come in my way. The universe can throw all it wants at me, stick to my path, I'll stay. Broken away from you, I don't care. I will stare into the sun, slingshot me around where I can find you. I'll be a record breaker. Space itself is no limit for me. I'll be your survivor. Just hold on, please wait for me. Cosmos in my way, I don't care what they say. Supernovae and black holes, get out of my way. At the speed of light, I am searching for you. In the moments to come, I'll break the boundaries for you. For you. I will be your record breaker. Space itself is no limit for me. I will be your survivor. Just hold on, please wait for me. I will be your record breaker. Space itself is no limit for me. I will be your survivor. Just hold on, please wait for me. With the cosmos in my way, I don't care what they say. Supernovae and black holes, get out of my way. At the speed of light, I'm searching for you. In the moments to come, I'll break the boundaries for you. For you. figure. Space itself is no link for me. I'll be your survivor.
Is a void, an absence of sound or activity. However, silence can also be a space for creativity to flourish. In moments of silence, we are able to tap into our inner resources, to access the depths of our imagination and intuition. It is in these quiet moments that some of our most profound insights and ideas emerge. Silence, far from being a limitation, is a tool that allows us to create, to dream, and to innovate. Creativity requires space to think, to explore, to play with ideas. When we are constantly surrounded by noise and activity, it can be difficult to access this creative space. Silence provides the stillness we need to let our minds wander, to explore new possibilities without the distractions of the external world. In this way, silence becomes a fertile ground for creativity to take root. Moreover, silence allows us to connect with our intuition. In the busyness of everyday life, it is easy to lose touch with our inner voice, the quiet whisper that guides us toward our true purpose. However, in moments of silence, we are able to tune into this voice, to listen to the wisdom that lies within us. This intuitive guidance is often the source of our most creative and inspired ideas. Silence also gives us the opportunity to reflect on our creative process. In the noise and rush of daily life, it can be difficult to step back and assess our work with clarity. However, silence provides the space for us to reflect on what we have created, to evaluate it with a critical eye, and to make adjustments as needed. This reflective process is essential for growth and improvement in any creative endeavor. Finally, silence allows us to recharge our creative energy. Creativity is not a constant flow, but a cycle that requires periods of rest and renewal. In moments of silence, we are able to rest our minds, to let go of the need to produce, and to simply be. This rest is essential for sustaining long-term creativity, as it allows us to return to our work with fresh energy and inspiration. Silence as a spiritual practice. Throughout history, many spiritual traditions have emphasized the importance of silence as a path to deeper connection with the divine. Whether through meditation, prayer, or contemplation, silence has been seen as a way to transcend the noise of the world and to enter into a state of communion with the sacred. In this way, silence becomes not just a practice of stillness, but a doorway to the divine. Silence as a spiritual practice involves creating space for the divine to speak. In the busyness of everyday life, it can be difficult to hear the quiet voice of the divine. However, when we are silent, we create an opening for this voice to be heard. This silence is not empty, but filled with the presence of the divine, a presence that brings peace, clarity, and guidance. Moreover, silence allows us to deepen our connection with our own inner divinity. In moments of silence, we are able to connect with the part of ourselves that is eternal, that is connected to the divine source of all creation. This connection brings a sense of peace and purpose, as we are able to see ourselves not just as individuals, but as part of a larger divine whole. Silence also allows us to enter into a state of contemplation, where we can reflect on the mysteries of life and the divine. This contemplation is not about finding answers, but about sitting with the questions, allowing them to unfold in their own time. In this way, silence becomes a space for spiritual growth and discovery. Finally, silence as a spiritual practice is not just about our relationship with the divine, but also about our relationship with others. When we are silent, we are able to listen more deeply to the divine presence in others. We become more attuned to the sacred in the world around us, and we are able to bring a sense of reverence and presence to our interactions with others. In this way, silence becomes a path to deeper connection with both the divine and the world. Silence in the face of adversity. Adversity is a part of life, and how we respond to it often determines our ability to overcome it. In moments of hardship, silence can be a powerful tool for resilience. Rather than reacting in anger or despair, silence allows us to pause, reflect, and gather our strength. It is in silence that we find the clarity and inner strength to face adversity with grace and determination. In the face of adversity, it is easy to feel overwhelmed by the noise of our thoughts and emotions. Fear, doubt, and frustration can cloud our judgment and lead us to make decisions that we later regret. However, when we are silent, we are able to step back from these emotions and gain perspective. We can assess the situation with clarity and make choices that are aligned with our values and long-term goals. Moreover, silence allows us to tap into our inner strength. In moments of adversity, we may feel as though we are powerless, as though the challenges we face are insurmountable. However, in silence, we are able to connect with the deep well of resilience that lies within us. This inner strength is not always visible in the noise and busyness of everyday life, but it is always there, waiting to be accessed in moments of stillness. Silence also gives us the space to process our emotions in a healthy way. In times of adversity, it is natural to feel fear, anger, or sadness. However, these emotions can become overwhelming if we do not take the time to process them. Silence allows us to sit with our emotions, to feel them fully, and to release them in a way that is healing and constructive. This emotional processing is essential for resilience, as it allows us to move forward with a clear and focused mind. Finally, silence in the face of adversity allows us to cultivate patience and perseverance. Adversity is often not something that can be overcome quickly or easily. It requires time, effort, and resilience. Silence teaches us to be patient with the process, to trust that we have the strength to endure, and to keep moving forward, even when the path is difficult. The wisdom of silence. At the heart of silence, wisdom. In a world that is constantly talking, those who are able to remain silent are often the ones who have the most to say. Silence allows us to listen, to observe, and to understand the world around us in a way that words cannot. It is in silence that we find the wisdom to navigate the complexities of life with grace and insight. Wisdom is not just about knowledge, but about understanding. It is about seeing the world clearly and making decisions that are aligned with our values and long-term goals. Silence allows us to cultivate this kind of wisdom, as it gives us the space to reflect on our experiences and to learn from them. In this way, silence becomes a tool for growth and self-discovery. Moreover, silence allows us to listen more deeply to others. In a world that is constantly talking, it is easy to miss the subtle cues and deeper meanings in our interactions with others. However, when we are silent, we are able to listen more attentively, to hear not just the words, but the emotions and intentions behind them. This kind of listening fosters deeper understanding and connection in our relationships. Silence also gives us the wisdom to know when to speak, and when to speak, and when to remain silent. Not every situation requires our voice, and sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. The wisdom of silence teaches us to choose our words carefully, to speak only when it is necessary and meaningful. This kind of restraint leads to more thoughtful communication and fosters greater respect in our interactions with others. Finally, the wisdom of silence teaches us to be comfortable with not knowing. Life is full of uncertainties, and it is not always possible to have all the answers. However, silence allows us to sit with these uncertainties, to accept them as part of the human experience, and to trust that clarity will come in time. In this way, silence becomes a path to inner peace and understanding. In a world that is filled with noise, the power of silence is often overlooked. Yet, as we have explored today, silence is not just the absence of sound, but a profound and transformative force. It allows us to listen more deeply, to connect with our inner selves, and to engage with the world around us in a more thoughtful and meaningful way. Through silence, we find clarity in confusion, strength in adversity, and wisdom in uncertainty. It is a tool for personal growth, a space for creativity, and a path to spiritual connection. In a world that is constantly talking, let us not forget the value of silence. It is in these moments of stillness that we discover who we truly are and find the courage to face the challenges of life with grace and resilience. 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 Resilience.